this guy offensively could do anything and everything at his peak. But like a lot of more players nowadays who are ringless, wasn't ready to go to off the jump. You know, I never had help, my teammates weren't that great, woulda, coulda, shoulda, if, this, that, XYZ hypothetical.
Yeah, this LeBron mentality, this like loser victim mentality is bleeding into like my generation now. What the hell is this?
Boo-hoo! Let me play a sad song for you on the world's smallest violin.
And looking at
all right, welcome back to the show, everyone, and good morning to you all. I wanted to check out this video. It is from Uncut Hoops, for those who don't know. And the title is Kobe Bryant's Legacy is Under Attack. And I think I know exactly what this is about. I think this is that whole Tracy McGrady and Gilbert Arenas thing on First Take. And I heard what they said. And I'm not surprised by Gilbert because, yeah, I mean, he is who he is. He's a troll. Who I am surprised by is TMAC, and not in a good way. So I'll just save it for as we go. But yeah, I don't know, man. You guys wanted me to react to this, and yeah, I had to do it. But I feel like this is a bad summer for players that I really liked who don't have championships. Steve Nash and T-Mac being two of my favorite players, and everything I'm seeing that's going on this summer, I'm like, damn, man. How am I supposed to defend y'all now? Anyways, you guys, let's get to this. I'm gonna link the original video from Uncut down below. So if you guys haven't heard of the channel, or you end up liking this video, please check out Uncut's channel. So yeah, the link is gonna be down in the description for you. You'll also see a list of channel members, and we got a couple of new channel members that just signed on today. So I want to give a quick shout out to Jose Toledo and Patrick Carlson. Thank you guys. Welcome on board. Hope you like that Larry O'Brien trophy next to your name. And welcome to the members section, you guys. Without further ado, I think let's get into this. Let's see. Let's see what this is about.
Kobe had 3 rings. Y'all wasn't treating him like a 3-ring player. You was treating him like a sidekick. He was considered a sidekick. He was considered a Robin. He was considered the next Pippen.
I don't believe you.
Kobe, we had kind of a lively debate here in the
By the way, he was never the next Pippen. I mean, come on. I just reacted to a long documentary on it. How many times in his early years did we hear the next Michael Jordan? The next Michael Jordan. He's directly compared to Michael Jordan over and over again. Not one comparison to Scottie Pippen. So, nope. 14 seconds in, already some BS.
Pre-game show about Kobe Bryant at 21 and Michael Jordan at 21. You have guys like Charles Barkley and Michael Finley and Kenny Smith all debating this, trying to figure out if you're a better player at that age than Michael Jordan was.
Rob, D-Fish, it made me look good. And it's good to play with the best player in the world on your team because it makes stuff a lot easy. And it's good to play with the best player in the world on your team.
When it comes to the career of one Kobe Bean Bryant, we all know he was a 5-time champion, 18-time All-Star, and one of the deadliest scorers to ever lace them up. When looking at Kobe's lasting impact, it goes beyond the stats, iconic moments, even to a certain degree beyond his skill set. As the lasting impact of Kobe more so deals with his mindset, work ethic, and his stance on winning and the pursuit of championships.
Yep.
And then from that moment on, I knew we spoke the same language. It doesn't matter if we had disagreements this and the other, our drive to win, like we have to win. There's no other option.
Why is ring culture so much more prevalent in the NBA than in other sports?
Yeah, it's funny, yeah, I don't know. I don't know why it's discussed so much in our sport and why it's the A-all, B-all.
The A-all, B-all. Not 1, not 2, not 3. I don't know why I'm talking about it.
You know, we have a million and one excuses that we could go to. Fact of the matter is, we're not going to make any.
And our season has been derailed all season with just like injuries and guys in and out. And
Wah.
You know, I talked about it all year.
How much harder will you work in this offseason now to get back to the championship?
I'll push myself to exhaustion.
And it's just basketball.
Don't stop it.
At the end of the day, it's just basketball.
For an
what? They're pretty much the same, right? So bad. Going back and forth and comparing the two is so bad.
NBA superstar to be a cutthroat winner, a win-at-all-cost player, that is a lost art, especially in today's NBA.
Yep.
As looking at the culture of basketball nowadays, what's all about is stats, your brand, and your individual accolades. Looking at Kobe's actual career, one thing that's being regretted on the fly is his time in the early 2000s alongside Shaquille O'Neal.
Y'all wasn't treating him like a three-ring player. You were treating him like a sidekick. He was considered a sidekick. He was considered a Robin. He was considered the next Pippen.
First of all, nobody did that, and I doubt Gilbert did that himself. We certainly didn't do that. Actually, because we were such Jordan fans, we were kind of scared of Kobe. I'm not gonna lie. Like, me, my friends, my brother, etc. We saw Kobe, and it was like, dude, what if he ends up better than Jordan? And I lived with that all the way till pretty much the end of his career, or when he got injured with his Achilles tear. But up until that point, it was like, holy crap, he might surpass Jordan eventually. So no, I was never comparing him to Pippen, and I never considered him a Robin. I watched Shaq's whole career. I watched Kobe's whole career. Shaq never won a championship until Kobe, until years with Kobe, actually. Not even right away, but years with Kobe. And I'm not saying Shaq didn't do his job. Obviously, Shaq did his job. But pretending like Kobe is a Robin, I never bought that narrative at all. I was there. I lived it.
He's lying.
He is
lying.
lying.
I ain't never seen a 21-year-old guy. You 22 now?
Yes.
Play as well as you playing right now.
Kobe Bryant had his best game of the finals with 36 points in Game 3. He's 23, already a superstar, and now on the verge of winning his third NBA championship.
Yeah, I don't recall Scottie Pippen scoring 36 points or even 30 points for that matter in a single finals game. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think I'm wrong on that.
I see his work ethic every day. He's very humble, and he has everything. There's nothing that kid can't do.
Kobe came alive in Game 3 after playing a subservient role in Games 1 and 2. His numbers for the final terrific across the board. His complete game on full display.
In 2002, with 3 rings, we were still comparing TMAC. Who was better in the league? You couldn't convince the NBA down the middle who was better.
So stopping that right there, some pretty asinine points that under scrutiny really don't hold up. As looking at the McGrady versus Kobe debate, this conversation in the 2000s was a legit debate.
It was.
That's not entirely false. But the debate what it centered around was who was the better overall player, more skilled, more talented basketball player. What this debate was not about was who was the greater overall player, as Kobe since day one was indeed just that.
Yeah, and I'll get my opinion out of the way real quick before I hear more of Uncuts, because I don't want to be like, whatever. I don't want to just agree with him or anything like that, so I'm just going to make my point. During that era, I've got an interesting angle at this, because during that time in the early 2000s, I was in the TMAC camp. Because, well, basically, I saw these two as both skill set. I saw the same skill set between Kobe and TMAC during this time. TMAC was just a little bit taller, but I didn't really care about that. What I did care about is that I was thinking Kobe was too cocky and his ego was too high. So I was thinking I like T-Mac better. But as time went on, Kobe kept stacking rings and T-Mac ended up having an injury-prone career. Obviously I changed my mind. But at the moment, I did actually for about 2 years think that T-Mac was a better basketball player than Kobe. Now, if we're talking greatness, come on now, 5 rings, no rings, like we're not having the same conversation here. But yeah, just as far as skill set wise, I thought they were on the same freaking level.
It's like Duncan versus Garnett. Timmy in 03, the far greater player, 2-time champion, and 2-time MVP. Garnett, 0 championships, 0 MVPs, and as a player was great, it wasn't as great as Tim Duncan. Was he better than Timmy? You can make that case.
Yeah.
Greater? Absolutely not.
Yep, I'm glad. Uncut understands the difference between like good or better, like if we're just talking about skill set, talent, promise, all that stuff, versus greatness, because greatness comes with winning, and that's just how it goes.
Replace me with Kobe with Shaq. I don't win a championship. You don't think I could carry the Lakers to a championship? Like, I've never had the opportunity.
Yeah, see, that's where I could, I agree with the first part, and I disagree with the second part. If he was teamed up at that time, that was pre-injury T-Mac, So if he was teamed up with Shaq in the beginning of 2000, maybe they win a championship. Yeah, I could definitely see it with Phil Jackson coaching. And what was the second part he said?
I could carry the Lakers to a championship. Like, I've never had the opportunity.
That's where it makes me sick. And yeah, this is where TMAC completely lost me because now he's playing victim. He might not have had the best opportunity in Orlando, but he had an opportunity in Houston. It was him, Yao Ming, and company. They had a great team, okay? And I can blame it all on injuries, but there were at least one playoff run where they were both healthy and they got eliminated in the first round. But I'll be honest, the majority of the reason why they didn't succeed was because of health issues. However, you can't say you didn't have your opportunity. You did, but you guys got injured. And when you did have the true opportunity, you didn't capitalize on it. You didn't get out of the first round. Sorry, T-Mac, I'm a big fan of yours, but this is some bullshit right here. Like, this is some absolute victim mind BS. I didn't have a chance. You had a lot of years in the NBA, bro. You had a chance.
You sure about that?
I felt like if I was put in that position to win a championship,
you were.
I damn sure would show up and do what I do in the playoffs.
It's off to McGrady, picked up by Leonard. McGrady.
What would you say you do here?
I love this movie.
Here's how you got ridiculed. Y'all were up 3-1 one time, and you thought y'all had it in the bag.
Can't find that.
Oh, no.
Can't find.
What I'm talking about when you went against Detroit.
Yeah. The Pistons survive 3 elimination games, down 3-1.
So stopping that right there when it comes to T-Mac, I don't want to bash this guy too much. But looking at McGrady's overall career compared to his talent, it was severely underwhelming. Because again, T-Mac, the individual player, 6'8", a great handle, great jump shot. This guy offensively could do anything and everything at his peak. But like a lot of more players nowadays who are ringless, was McGrady go to off the jump? You know, I never had help, my teammates weren't that great, woulda, coulda, shoulda, if, this, that, XYZ hypothetical.
Yeah, this LeBron mentality, this like loser victim mentality is bleeding into like my generation now. What the hell is this?
Ooh, let me play a sad song for you on the world's smallest violin.
And looking at prime T-Mac from 02 to 08, this guy didn't have the most stacked rosters, but had capable rosters that at least once should have made it past the first round.
Agreed. Yes. When I said he didn't have like a title chance earlier until he was a Houston Rocket, that's one thing. Don't misconstrue that with excusing him for getting eliminated in the first round every year. No, there's no excuse for that.
In 02 versus the Hornets, that series was very, very winnable. They lost in 5. 03 versus the Pistons, a better Pistons team. No, they weren't the favorites, but they were up 3-1, blew that series.
Yep, and he celebrated. This is where I realized the mindset is off with him for what I was hoping he would become, like the greatness level he would become. They were up 3-1, and he already celebrated in the press conference, saying it's so great to be out of the first round finally. And then they lost the next 3 games.
05 versus the Mavs, losing in 7 games, a hard-fought series, but again lost in the first round. Then 07 and 08, who they lose to back-to-back. Not the Spurs, Mavericks, Suns, but the Utah Jazz.
Yeah, the AK-47 and Darren Williams Jazz, huh?
I just never had the chance. So do I get diminished because
you didn't make it out of the
I never
first
won
round?
a championship?
Yes. If you're talking about greatness, yes. If we're talking about skill set, no. But greatness means you don't, you perform better in the playoffs. You don't fall apart in the playoffs. It's hard for me, dude. I'm a big T-Mac fan. This video is not fun for me to talk about this, but I got to be fair, you know? Yes, I have bias. I'm a human, but this is not, he's so out of pocket here.
And here's the big time kicker. 2009, T-Mac gets traded. He's not a Rocket anymore. What do they do in the postseason? They take the eventual champion Lakers to 7 games. And Yao Ming that series missed 4 total games.
Damn.
So Tracy McGrady all this time later kind of painting with a broad brush. They never had help, never had a chance. That is inherently false. And what we're talking about is first round wins. I'm not talking championship East Finals appearance. I'm talking 1 series win.
Yeah.
Prime T-Mac never did that in Houston, or Orlando.
I remember when I talked to my dad. We were just having a random basketball conversation, and we were talking about TMAC, and I'm like, dude, I can't believe he never made it out of the first round. And he was just like, wait, what? Like, he was in disbelief because he watches a lot of basketball too, and he's like, he never did. I'm like, no, it's like the biggest stain on his resume. It's wild.
Replace me with Kobe with Shaq. I don't win a championship. You don't think I could carry the Lakers to a championship?
And look, when it comes to three-peating, that's not some easy feat everyone could do. Just plug and play, Kobe's out, T-Mac's in, they three-peat automatically. That's not how stuff works in hypotheticals, especially in reality.
I like I said, I think they could win at least one. Yeah, why not? I do believe it because Shaq can get out of the first round by himself. He's proven that. So you add on a T-Mac, to a Shaq that can already do that much by himself. I believe at least 1 year together, they can make it to the promised land. Absolutely. But yeah, a three-peat or something like that, like, dude, no, that's a different thing.
And look at those championship runs, even in 2000, with Shaq at the peak of his powers, in shape playing defense. Even that year's championship run was a tough title run down to the wire. Look at Game 4 in Indy. Shaq fouls out, the series is 2-1 LA's up, but Indy has all the momentum, can tie it 2-2. Kobe in the fourth quarter in OT, 12 points, 6 makes, 3 misses, and crucial buckets down the stretch in the fourth and OT.
Here he is over Jackson. Shaw, running one-hander, followed in by Kobe Bryant.
And here's one more point I do want to make. When it comes to Kobe hypotheticals, here's one nobody ever makes. How many players in league history got Pau Gasol as their second best player, make 3 finals, and go back-to-back in the Western Conference?
Yeah, I think a different question that could have been asked on that panel was, if Kobe Bryant was on the Houston Rockets with Yao Ming, do they win a championship? T-Mac wouldn't have liked that question, but I think it's a fair question considering that he was going the other direction, which is not cool because they were friends, dude. Him and Kobe were friends, and I don't know if he realized what he was doing here, but by doing this, he's basically kind of diminishing like the uniqueness of Kobe Bryant by saying you could just plug me in there and we're gonna win all the same. I didn't like that, Like Kobe and Jordan are very comparable, but I don't even feel that way. You know what I mean? Like if you just replace Jordan with Kobe, the same things don't happen, and vice versa.
Hypothetical isn't asked nearly as much, as the answer to that question is much more complicated. The number of players who could do that is damn near 1.
Kobe had 3 rings. Y'all wasn't treating him like a 3-ring player.
Yeah, we were.
You was treating him like a sidekick.
No, we weren't.
He was considered a sidekick.
Nope.
He was considered a Robin. He was considered the next Pippen.
Nope.
What?
It wasn't until the league blackballed him many years later that this became a narrative. And even then, I don't even remember it like that. This seems like a new thing, like a Clutch Sports thing, because nobody said this crap. You know what I mean? In fact, like, all of my friends and I, we're all Arizona natives here. We all hate the Lakers. We all hated Kobe. By the time Kobe retired, I remember like a bunch of us like getting together for a Super Bowl and kicking back. And then like it was cool to hear them all like admit that like they were like, oh man, Jordan's the GOAT, hands down. Like they hated Jordan too back then. But then afterwards they're like, yeah, number 2 ain't LeBron. It's Kobe. Kobe's the closest thing to Jordan, and he's the second best player of all time. And I'm like, yeah, this is how we know Kobe. Clutch Sports, they got propaganda to spread.
Bro, what are you talking about, man?
You tripping.
I love nowadays how NBA analysts, NBA quote-unquote experts, can just say things put out of their ass and it's taken as gospel the truth, and nobody pushes back, not even once.
What the hell is an analyst nowadays anyways? Uncut, are you an analyst? Am I an analyst at this point? Like, what defines an analyst? Because it seems like people aren't really... An analyst nowadays just seems like somebody who has an opinion. And, it's different. The media is different now.
As saying Kobe in the early 2000s was viewed as Pippen and not Jordan, that's completely asinine and not true. You can look at commentators, coaches, even Kobe's own teammates, and the comparison is always MJ, never Pippen.
Mm-hmm.
He ain't lying.
No, you ain't lying.
And look, in a general sense, saying someone's a Pippen not a massive insult because Scottie was a great player in his own right.
Yeah, but this is the very first time I'm ever hearing a comparison of Kobe Bryant and Scottie Pippen. I've heard Kobe and Jordan a gazillion times, and that's really the only person to compare him with. Also, you can compare him with TMAC. That's about it, though.
But looking at that three-peat, Kobe was not a Pippen in every single championship run. As looking at 2000, is the only one out of the bunch you can argue he was indeed a Robin and a clear-cut number 2 to Shaq's 1.
Yes.
But besides that...
Yeah, because that first championship year, I think Shaq was averaging like 34 points a game and a ridiculous amount of rebounds. So yeah, that was a 1-2 punch that year. Then it became a 1-1 punch.
Look for a Pippen-esque championship run, 01 and 02 are not the runs to look at. As Kobe in 01, absolutely phenomenal, superstar stuff, and borderline best player in the NBA type numbers. As scoring-wise, 29.4 points a game, 7.3 boards, 6.1 dimes, on 47% shooting, being 30 defensive win shares, and 10th in defensive rating. For that Lakers team in 01, debatably, they're the two best players in the league, in Kobe and Shaq, with AI being a close third. And looking at Kobe's scoring ability, in the West Semis and West Finals, the Lakers' leading scorer at 33 and 35 points per game respectively. In Scottie's entire career, not once did he outscore MJ in a playoff series, and only once cracked 25 points per game. Kobe in this run did that multiple times and outscored Shaq in 2 out of the 4 series. Now, looking at 2002 in pursuit of a three-peat, Kobe's overall numbers did not scream Scottie Pippen, as in this run, 27 points, 6 boards, 5 dimes, on 43% shooting.
I wish Pippen could have done this just once. In a playoff run, in a finals, in a regular season. Like, that would have been great. It would have taken some of the load off of Jordan.
He was considered the next Pippen.
No, he wasn't.
You sit on a throne of lies.
Look, the bottom line's pretty simple. Pippen in his own right was a great player. Was the player Kobe was in 2002, 2001? Absolutely not. As Kobe's overall offensive ceiling was much higher.
They didn't even play a similar style of basketball, so the whole thing is dumb.
And defensively, was second team twice and first team once. Now, one last thing I do want to hit on is Gilbert Arenas being a quote-unquote Kobe fan. As looking at Gil's all-time list as of yesterday, he had Kobe second all-time, ahead of LeBron, and only behind Jordan.
The 3 greatest players are the following: Jordan, Kobe, LeBron, in that order.
Cap. See, stop making, nigga, you know my goddamn order. Jordan, LeBron, Kobe.
Once LeBron James is solidified, you are the GOAT, Jordan swindles. That's why niggas is like, yo, why nobody talk about Kobe being the great? Because he got surpassed already. There's no point in talking about number 3. It's only 1 and 2 now.
The reason that I feel LeBron is the GOAT is because during pressure times, he still makes the actual right decision. You know, Jordan's my GOAT, right? You know, just like, you know, most of everybody. LeBron James is second, Kobe's third.
So
okay, I heard his language there, though. That last one, he said, my GOAT. So is he just trolling?
I think Gilbert's all-time list, honestly, I don't really care.
I don't
Make
either.
your list however you like.
I don't care.
But here's my big-time problem. Gilbert's list always changes based on who he's talking to and who he's debating. I've seen over and over again, he'll say LeBron's the best, LeBron's top 2. Then all of a sudden, Kobe surpasses him based on really nothing. At the end of the day, here's what's happening. Gil's take on Kobe recently got him tons of backlash. So what does he do to offset that? He says, you know, I don't hate Kobe. He's in my top 2 all time. And for the past month, past year, that's never been the case. What you have with Gilbert Arenas is snake oil salesman's opinion fluctuates with the wind and is popular in the moment. This month, Kobe's top 2 all time, that's popular. In 5 months, LeBron James, him being top 1, that'll be popular. Gil's list will change. Here's all I ask. When it comes to Kobe's career, Kobe's ranking, get your story straight. Was he Pippen? Was he not Pippen? Did he value championships? Did he not value championships? Is he second all time? Is he third, fourth, or fifth? At some point, make up your mind, have a take, and stand on it for longer than 2 weeks at a time. As always, thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you next time.
Great vid as usual, uncut. I agree with everything you're saying, and I'm glad about that because I was a little worried about this one. because I was worried out of anger there would be a narrative that TMAC was actually not a good basketball player. So I'm glad you actually highlight that he was good, but you highlighted all his faults. So all I have to do is agree with you at this point. You're dead on. There was one thing I wanted to comment on that I heard earlier in this video, and that was the direct comparison from Kobe to Scottie Pippen. And it's just weird to me because Kobe's the shooting guard. He's 6'6", and he patterned his style of basketball after Michael Jordan. So he's definitely the Jordan on that Lakers team. Okay. The anomaly was Shaq. Shaq was, something that the Chicago Bulls never had. They never had a big guy like that, which is why a lot of us were rooting against them because we felt like this was unfair. Because it was like imagine, taking a young Jordan and sticking a prime Shaq in his lineup. Like, they're gonna dominate the world. So honestly, I was rooting for them to break up from day one. I didn't want this to last because I was like, this is unfair. Little did I know 10 years later or whatever, we were going to experience the super team era. So what the Lakers were doing at that time, fairness wise, that was nothing. That was fair game. That was a free agent signing and then a rookie being drafted, Kobe. It's nothing bad. But I just find it weird to compare him to Pippen when he's obviously playing the Jordan role. It's just in this alternate universe where a Jordan has a prime Shaq on the team and they're stacking rings. The other thing I wanted to say is Gilbert is obviously, he'll say what he says, but he obviously doesn't mean it. The point being, he always talks about Kobe's my favorite player. Kobe's my favorite player. I've never seen someone badmouth their favorite player more than I've seen Gilbert do it. So that's why I don't believe him. I think he actually hates Kobe. And it is what it is. You can't, when you talk as much as that guy, you can't lie, because it catches up to you. You talk yourself into circles and the truth comes out. So it's like, you guys know I'm Jordan's my GOAT. And imagine if every video I'm telling you, yeah, Jordan's greatest of all time. But every single day, I'm telling you why Jordan's not great. Why LeBron was better than Jordan. Why Kobe was better than Jordan. But I still preface with it, no, man, Jordan's the GOAT for sure. But, but LeBron. But Kobe. Obviously I'd be full of crap. You guys would be calling me out on it left and right, for the hypocrisy. But I don't know, man. I got to admit what I got to admit. He has a popular platform. Gilbert does, because it's interesting. A lot of you guys are commenting on all my stuff, and I'm reading the comments, and a lot of them, you guys are repeating things that Gil said. Whether you agree with it or you don't agree with it, you are watching Gilbert. You know what I mean? So he's obviously doing something right, but I don't really get it because I have him in the same category as Nick Wright. Once I know someone's a bullshitter, I just move on. I do this in my personal life too. Once I know someone's a phony, I just detach from them and move on with my life. But I don't know. This stuff keeps coming my way anyways, passively through other videos. But I'll tell you, I never go out of my way to watch Gilbert Arenas. So that's just because of that. If anything, I'm more interested in what everybody else has to say on the panel. But then it all gets blown up because Gil starts yelling and then everyone starts shouting. And then it's just this, I don't know, man. It's just not for me. It's not my style, but I recognize it's very popular. But I just bring that all up to say is I haven't trusted anything that Gilbert's said publicly since he pulled the gun on his teammate. After that, if you can justify that action, yeah, I'm good. There's a lot of other people who can talk about basketball that I can listen to and I can learn from that aren't like this, Anyways, you guys, I am out of here. Once again, shout out to new channel members. I appreciate you guys. Yeah, like the video, subscribe to the channel if you want more content like this. Stick it in the comments. What do you guys think about this? How you feeling about TMAC? Are you guys as pissed off as I am about it? Did you always dislike TMAC, or is it a new thing? Because obviously I'm having a little bit of a conflict here. because of how I felt about TMAC all the way up until the last couple of days, and now I'm feeling a different way. But anyways, let me know what you guys think. Do you guys agree with Gil? What do you think of my take on Gil? All this stuff, we'll talk about it in the comments. I appreciate you all. And yeah, most importantly, be water, my friends.